Hello and welcome to Pilbology 101. This is a beginner's level video and it's going to focus on nouns. Right, as we found out in the first video, which was on articles, we have three different genders. We have der, we have die, and we have das. That's an S. Okay. Now, the thing to remember about these articles is that they are, in fact, in the singular. Okay? So these are all singular. That means that there's just one of them. So an example of that would be, as we used in the first video, das. Oops, let's just go back. In fact, let's just write over it. Das Auto. Okay, the car. Das Auto refers to one car. Right. So the one article that in that case is missing. Let's move this out of the way. Is the plural form, and this is also die, like the feminine but different. So let's start out with from the beginning, where we started before, which was with masculine. Okay, so masculine nouns. This is a general rule. There are always exceptions to every rule in grammar, but this is a fairly good idea of how to form the plural. Okay, so let's take a word that's masculine. So the table, or der Tisch. Okay, now the plural of Tisch for masculine nouns, the most usual plural, is formed by adding an e. Okay, another way of in this case the plural form would be der Tisch, die Tische. Die Tische. Okay? So, another masculine word, der Schrank, which means the cupboard or closet or wardrobe. Wardrobe with a Kleiderschrank, but der Schrank. The plural of this would be die Schränke. Okay, so die Schränke. So the two ways of forming a plural noun, if it's masculine, okay, are to either add an e or add an umlaut. All right. So remember that if there's something that's not understood or that I haven't explained clearly enough, you can obviously always go back and have a look at these. They are, of course, videos, so you can pause them and return to them as you like. Now, let's move these out the way to shrink you down a bit more. And let's look at the feminine. So, die. An example of this would be, let's take flowers, or the flower, die Blume. Die Blume. And quite simply, for feminine nouns, the most usual ending is either an N or an EN. Okay? Now, given that, for example, this this word die Blume already happens to end in an N, an E, for the plural you would just simply add the N. If you had another feminine word, for example, die Frau, the lady or the woman, you would just add the en ending. So it would become die Frauen. Okay, so let's move these out the way. And we'll look at the final one, which is, of course, das. For most common neutral nouns, neuter nouns, the ending that's usually used is an E. Quite simply, as you saw with the masculine, so you would add an E ending. So the example that we've used was das Auto. You can't say das Auto were. You actually would just stick an S on the end of that one. That's an exception to the rule. As I say, there's going to be a few of them. But if you were to say use Spiel or game from the verb spielen, to play, you would play a game, and Spiel spielen. You just simply add the E, and you've got die Spiele. So let's get rid of that and stick that down there. So there you have an introduction to nouns, and more importantly, a quick introduction to how to form their plurals as well. Bearing in mind these rules are always going to apply. And just a quick recap: masculine nouns, so der is written in blue, feminine die is written in pink, and das, green, is for the neuter. Okay, so that's it for this video. The next video is going to focus on definite and indefinite articles. See you next time.